Hi, I'm Kyle McCarty, wildlife biologist for Arizona Game and Fish Department. Today on Arizona Wildlife Views, we've got a great rescue story about a group of great horned owl nestlings saved and given another chance at the wild, plus a tasty dove hunt cook-off. Find out which tasty recipe took home the top prize. And later, time for the annual Arizona Game and Fish Summer Camp, one of the coolest in the state. We've got all this and a fabulous look at a desert gem called Burro Creek, coming up on Arizona Wildlife Views.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Tonight we'll show you just how amazing and resilient our Arizona wildlife is. When their mother was shot, 4 great horned owl nestlings were rescued and raised by the folks at Liberty Wildlife. Here's a look at how Arizona Game and Fish recently released them back into the wild.
Wish them well.
Wish them good luck.
After its mother was shot by a man who didn't want her nesting in his backyard, this great horned owl and its 3 siblings are getting their first taste of freedom. This happy ending is possible only because concerned neighbors reported the crime.
A man had shot a great horned owl. It was a nesting pair, and they did have 4 nestlings in the nest that they were taking care of. Apparently this man believed that owls were evil. They had some superstitions about owls, and his wife and children were afraid of them. Unfortunately, he acted on that and shot the owl. We had to decide at that point what we were going to do with the nestlings. So what we did was we had a couple of our employees who are great climbers. They're very skilled. They have very specific skill sets in climbing into nests. We had them climb up the tree and remove the nestlings. Liberty Wildlife got involved, and they were able to take care of the owls, fortunately, and they provided a surrogate for the babies.
So we got these owls when they were probably just under a month old, so obviously they weren't able to take care of themselves yet.
Come here. Get this one.
As soon as they came in and we looked them over and made sure that they were healthy and didn't have injuries, we were able to put them in with Maggie, is the name of the foster mom.
Those are her watchful eyes behind this orphaned nestling.
We were able to put them in with her immediately. She's a great mother. She's very protective. So actually, when we go into the enclosure, we have to be careful because she's already protecting what other fosters she might have in there, and she's already got that mommy instinct.
After 4 months in the care of Liberty Wildlife, these young owls have come a long way.
These guys are doing really, really well, and we're ready to release them. They've grown to adult size, basically. They're pretty much at the full size they're going to be. They have all their flight feathers, so they've been practicing here, feeding themselves on their own. We do something called live feed, where we actually put them in a flight cage, make sure that their muscles have been built up and they can fly. And we also put live food in there with them to make sure that they know how to catch it on their own. And they've proven that they can do that, so it's time for them to go.
They're getting feisty in there. They're ready. They're ready to go.
The walk of freedom.
I know, that's what it feels like.
The release takes place August 3rd at Robbins Butte Wildlife Area south of Buckeye.
This area out here, Robbins Butte Wildlife Area, which is a game and fish property, is perfect for them. There's lots of standing water, there's rodents, there's birds, lots of food for them to eat. There's actually even owl boxes out here, so if they don't like some of the trees over here, they can go sleep in the owl boxes. So they've got pretty much everything they need right here. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, he's adorable. Hi, baby. I know.
Okay, so.
Among the people who had the honor of releasing an owl was Kurt License, the game and fish biologist who climbed a tree to rescue the orphaned nestlings.
When I first went into it, I was told that there were 2 nestlings in the tree, maybe 2, maybe none. Nobody seemed to be sure how many were in there. So I got up to the top and I pulled out one, and then I pulled out another. And then I pulled out another and they just kept coming until there were 4. So that was a bit of a surprise, but it was a happy surprise, and it just reaffirmed that it was good we got up there, so those were lives that didn't have to be lost.
Kurt handed the baby birds off to Liberty Wildlife volunteer Cheryl Snyder, who took them to the rehab facility.
Very deep sadness at seeing what happened. Very, very deep sadness that people do that, but they do it all over, so.
Get a little closer.
Lainey Antelick is the Game and Fish Wildlife Manager who investigated the crime, which took place in the West Valley city of Tolleson.
It turned into us citing a man for illegally shooting an owl. So I cited him, and he took a plea deal, so he's going to pay over $4,000 in restitution. He's going to pay the majority of that to Liberty Wildlife because the care of these 4 nestlings was fairly costly. So they're going to recoup those costs, which is nice. Part of that restitution will also go to the Wildlife Theft Prevention Fund, and that helps us recoup some of our costs. We do pay reward money to people that report these violations.
She likes to remind people about the Operation Game Thief hotline. It's like Silent Witness for wildlife violations. People can call 1-800-352-0700 to report suspicious activity. They can choose to remain anonymous, and they may even get reward money when their tips lead to an arrest or citation. The moment everyone's been waiting for is finally here.
Okay. All right, ready? 1.
A countdown, a toss-up, and a return to the wild for these orphaned great horned owls.
Oh, I can't, I don't even know how to describe. It's like your heart just swells in joy and happiness in seeing these owls that have survived this horrendous experience go out and free and make a life.
It was beautiful to see that all of the nestlings made it in a situation where they likely wouldn't have, and to have them out here on their own now, able to do their thing and live their lives is a very rewarding feeling.
It's kind of like the culmination of everything just coming together, and bad story in the beginning ended well in the end, and we got to release 4 healthy great horned owls today, which was pretty fantastic.
Good morning, guys. How are you? Excellent. So, Dad, we're going to have you sign them in. So your guys' shirts in there. There's water bottles. Good morning, sweetie. You ready for this? It's going to be awesome.
School's out for summer, and the fun is just getting started.
Good morning, campers.
These kids are at the first ever Arizona Game and Fish Wildlife and Outdoor Recreation Summer Camp, co-sponsored by Wildlife for Tomorrow.
First important rule today is you guys have to drink what? Water. And a lot of water. That's the big, big rule for today.
This camp is all about getting children outdoors, to introduce them to outdoor recreation.
It's really to connect the kids with nature.
Have you put on a worm before? No?
Probably greater than 75% of the children that participate in the camp just don't get outdoors. I mean, they don't fish, they don't shoot, they don't hike. So how will those kids care about the wildlife in Arizona, the habitat in Arizona, if they don't know about it, if they don't experience it? That's our next generation of voters, and unless those kids care, we're doomed.
Big is an understatement. That is probably a 7 or 8 pound catfish right there. Holy smokes.
What was it like bringing that in?
Really hard. We kept fighting. Wouldn't just give up.
The thing that was most fun for me was probably fishing. The pond out here has a lot of big fish, and everybody caught something.
Yeah, I only caught small fish though. I caught 8 fish. I caught 3 catfish, 4 bluegill, and 1 largemouth bass.
All right, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and put him back in.
Nice. Oh, you caught that?
Right on.
Oh, wow.
You know, don't want to overuse the word awesome, but it's just one of those things you just can't really honestly describe it until you're there and you see that big smile on their face, and that's what makes it all worth it. All right, you're ready to catch the next big one, okay?
Thank you.
And you push the water forward toward your feet.
The camp took place at the Arizona Game and Fish Department's Ben Avery shooting facility in North Phoenix. It's home to the Hirsch Conservation Education Area, a perfect place for outdoor adventure.
Bob and Mary Hirsch were Arizona icons, outdoor enthusiasts. It was their legacy to have a place where city kids could come and catch their first fish or feel the freedom of being on the water kayaking.
All right, Kyle. Woo! You are a natural, dude.
We have to educate our future generation in order to preserve this beautiful place. I'm an Arizona native. I love our state, and I know that the responsibility lies in our future generation. And being able to be part of educating them and showing them the magical wonders that we have here in nature is very fulfilling.
The one thing I loved the most was kayaking. You control the kayak. It was you choosing where you wanted to go, and you could splash yourself with water when it was really hot. It really was really fun.
This camp is the best camp ever. There's so many activities that you do. You're never bored.
See if you can figure out what they are.
Leeches. Do we have?
No, we don't have leeches. We don't have leeches.
You make so many new friends. The counselors are really nice too. You do a lot of activities that are outdoor and indoor, and even the indoor ones are fun.
You got a skull!
Let me see. Can I see?
I got 2 skulls.
Can I see? We dissected owl pellets. They're like things that owls can't digest, so they spit them back out, regurgitate, and then you get to see what owls, just see what type of animal they ate. It's a skull.
I got a tooth. I think it's a bird foot or something.
So today we're going to shoot some air rifle. We treat the air rifles just as we would any other firearm.
Right in the center.
So this is Hunter. We don't know what happened to his mom, and he was abandoned. At about 2.5 weeks old, he was too young to fend for himself, so he had to have special care taken.
What did I bring this morning? Someone raise their hands. How about you? They're prairie dogs, and these are called black-tailed prairie dogs. Somebody had them as pets, and that's illegal in Arizona.
I like seeing all the animals that they brought in.
I liked seeing the bobcat.
He's adorable, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So as adorable as he is, he's still a wild animal.
Oh, look at him.
They love the prairie dogs. They even came up with nicknames.
Yeah, one was called Spider Dog. Because it kept on trying to climb the fences and getting out. So it was really funny.
Spider dog, spider dog.
We hope that when the kids leave our camp that they have a deeper appreciation for nature, for wildlife, that they have an understanding that it's their responsibility.
The Wildlife and Outdoor Recreation Summer Camp was divided into 2 week-long sessions that took place in June. About 200 kids participated, and it looks like they had a really good time.
Lots of activities and really hands-on and fun.
My greatest hope is the 200 kids that we've interacted with these last 2 weeks will be the next generation of conservation voters, that they will be the ones that demand that wildlife and habitat and conservation issues are a top priority across the state of Arizona.
It's an awesome camp, and I'd recommend it for a lot of people.
Really, 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 really fun.
I would definitely come back next year, and I would enjoy it every single time.
Yuma, Arizona is already a world-class destination for dove hunting. Now it's aiming to show the world just how tasty doves can be. Welcome to the city's first ever World Championship Dove Cook-Off. It's a big name for a little event, but organizers plan to grow this thing into something huge. Meanwhile, 5 teams are competing in the inaugural contest, and they've cooked up some plans to tickle your taste buds.
I'm actually going to be making dove 2 different ways. So I'm going to do a tomato braise on it, and then I'm going to do a pan-fried with spinach and ricotta.
Enchiladas with dove, so dove-aladas is what we're calling it.
We've been playing with the name, but what we are doing is local area dove sliders with fennel slaw.
Yuma dove fajitas.
Honey, garlic, black pepper, dove. Asian.
Over white rice.
Going Asian.
Yep.
You are being judged on taste, appearance, creativity, and the uniqueness of the dove.
Sharon Dampier is supervising the contest. She's a culinary arts professor at Arizona Western College.
When you turn in your dove, on your containers, you will put down your team number only.
After going over the ground rules, doves are inspected to make sure they are indeed doves.
We're good. Okay.
Then the teams have 3 hours to prepare their dishes and maybe share their secrets for making dove delicious.
I've never done it before, so I wouldn't know the secrets.
Don't dry it out. I think it's that simple.
Medium.
Yep. Medium.
You can't overcook it. It'll make it taste like liver.
The secret, I guess, would be to keep moisture in it. I'm going to wrap one of them in bacon for extra fat content, and the other one I'm going to fry for extra fat content, so there we go. I went to culinary school. I've been teaching for 3 years, and I have about 4 years in restaurants.
We've done one previous competition, but it was a Dutch oven competition versus just a dove competition. We won our class.
So you must have a little confidence coming into this.
We have no confidence coming into this.
No confidence and
no
even fewer expectations.
Amid all the slicing and dicing, the stirring and frying, local chefs demonstrate recipes of their own. And at least one local kid demonstrates the erratic flight pattern of a typical wild dove.
We're excited, but not looking forward to the heat of the day. That's the only setback. I wish it was next week where they're saying it's going to be 101.
It's September in Yuma, which means it's hot. But today, the sizzle is a sign of something good.
Asian flavors help dove a little bit for people who are scared of it or might have that fear of like livery flavor like you typically get.
Everybody around here likes enchiladas, and why not add dove meat instead of your typical beef, chicken, pork? Do some dove.
The spices, the love, just it's a good combination. It's a fajita. Who doesn't love fajitas?
Very excited. My first time cooking dove, it'll be for a competition, so that's a little weird, but excited.
Cocky. Or not. Yeah.
Confident.
Good, yeah.
Breeze is definitely helping.
Yeah.
When time is up, the dishes are delivered to the judges, who have no idea who cooked each meal. Every 10 minutes, a new dish arrives and the judges do their thing.
I was totally amazed by what you can do with dove.
After all the tasting and judging is done, Sharon tallies the scores.
Scores were very close.
Every recipe was phenomenal, and none were dry.
Not one.
And all were flavorful.
Third place winner, the breast of the bunch. Second place team, Dove Story. First place goes to the Dove Dudes.
The Dove Dudes took top prize in the inaugural World Championship Dove Cook-Off with their Asian-inspired offering.
Victory! Dove Dudes for the win. #1, first year.
But can they repeat as champions?
Apparently we have to defend the title next year. I was hoping just to be a judge.
But hey, bring it on. Next year, we'll see you.
Highway 93 from Phoenix to Las Vegas when the hills are covered in wildflowers, then you've passed over Burro Creek. It's past the Joshua Tree Forest and just beyond nothing. Below the highway bridge is the Burro Creek Campground. It's a hidden gem set out in plain view. There are places to camp and barbecue. Plenty of spots to go fishing or swimming in the water. And there are even places to go off-roading if that's what you like to do. It's easy to spot the blue herons nesting from the campground, but keep your eyes open for eagles, hawks, vultures, mule deer, and javelina, to name a few. And if you're lucky, you might even see a bighorn sheep among the rocks. If you travel the dirt roads off the main highway here, the terrain seems to change around every corner. You can visit azgfd.gov/recreation and check out all the fun things you can do around the state. It's time to start your adventure.
We'll see you next time, and remember, get out there and enjoy those Arizona wildlife views.